On today's episode of What's Going On in Shayna's comment section, thank you so much for this comment. I have many thoughts, brought out the handy dandy notebook. First, let's dive in. Let's read this comment and then let's elaborate a little bit. So, could you do a series on advice you've gotten from older women? Have you done specific videos on that before? To answer the second question, no, I have not done videos on that before, so it's happening today. And to answer the first one, yes, I will. Will it be a series? I don't know, maybe, but I'll start it today, and then if people want more, just let me know. So this comment is under a video that I did that talks about how, men think that older women are bitter and like some younger women are lied into thinking, older women are bitter. You shouldn't listen to them. They don't want you to be happy, when really they just have information. They just have valuable, pertinent information to help you make better decisions at an earlier phase in life that they probably wish they had earlier too. I'll see if I could link the video somewhere up here. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. But anyway, for those who are new here, hi, my name is Shayna. I talk a lot about being child-free, decentering men, the practices and theories behind those things and how they're very interrelated. I'm also a journalist. You could read all of my articles on my website. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, things like that, please type them away in the comment section. And I'd love it if you could like, share, subscribe, all of those good things. And if you have I always appreciate a super thanks in advance. And if there's something that you really want me to make a video on, please type that into the comment of the super thanks, so that way it goes to the top. Okay, now with that, let's get into some of the best advice that I've been given from older women in my life. One, this is from multiple women who have children. And they have told me explicitly, do not have children unless you really want them. It has nothing to do with your husband. It has nothing to do with your family. It has nothing to do unless you really want them. If you don't really want them, just don't have them. And every single mom that I know, regardless of if they're like a younger mom where their kids are around like 2 years old, all the way up to like, I've mentored some of their kids and now they're like graduating college, right? Regardless of what the age range of the kid is and what the mom is, they all start out with, listen, I love my kids. But Shayna, I knew I wanted children. If I didn't want children, I love my kids, Shayna. So yeah, that really got me thinking about if I really wanted kids. And the answer was no. I'm very grateful for that piece of advice. Next, believe in your artistic pursuits. I remember the exact woman that gave me this advice. Her name is Angela Robinson. If any of you guys are familiar with the OWN network, she was the Ice Queen in The Haves and the Have-Nots. So she's not my actual aunt. I just call her Auntie Angela because she and her husband very much adopted me. Also, while this is focused on the older women, Uncle Scott, her husband, gave me a piece of advice that I have to share with you guys, but that's coming in later. But she encouraged me in the way that she moved and the amount of time that she invested into me, that she believed in my artistic pursuits, that she believed in now listen, some people are gifted with numbers. That's great. I was never a numbers person. I was never a medical person. I've always been the artsy type. And the way that she moved and the way that she spoke to me and the way that she fed into me made me believe that there was a way that I could fund my life through my art, through my words, through my creativity. And I wouldn't be in this position today if it wasn't for her. Now, the next piece of advice is from Uncle Scott. Uncle Scott, I appreciate that man. That might be the only bald man who was not bald via alopecia or some kind of medical disease. But also, he's older bald. If you've seen any of my other videos, if you're under the age of like 55, 50 and you're bald, I'm side-eyeing you. I feel like you're inherently irresponsible. Have not been proven wrong. Uncle Scott is much older than that. So this does not count. Anyway, here's what I have from Uncle Scott. He looked me square in my eyeballs and he said, "You are too smart to not know how beautiful you are." He said, "You are too smart to not know how beautiful you are. Now, let me break down why this was such a revolutionary concept to me. In being an artistic person, I also live in facts. I also live in logic. My brain just functions in that kind of way. I'm gonna need things to make sense, right? So as Auntie Angela was encouraging me in my artistic pursuits, he was grounding me in some real Capricorn energy type logic. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have a master's degree from Harvard University, and I got that master's degree through the American Repertory Theater advanced acting program. It used to be in conjunction with Harvard. All this to say, I have a very expensive piece of paper, and as I was getting there, mind you, I would not have applied. I would not have gotten in if it was not for this couple as a whole, right? This couple as a whole. So as Auntie Angela was like helping me through the emotional preparation for this new era of my life, Uncle Scott was like, Shayna, I'm gonna need to be so for real with you. And I was like, yes. Mind you, I was a full-blown baby at this time. I was like, what, maybe 21 when I got in? 21, maybe 22? I don't know, fresh out of undergrad, right? And he was like, Shayna, in terms of your career, you need to understand who you are as you enter a room, not just energetically, but he's like, if you're gonna apply and if you're gonna audition to be like the quirky best friend, people are gonna look at you like you're dumb. And I was like, what? He was like, you give leading lady. And you will not get employment if you keep looking at yourself as a quirky best friend when you are a leading lady. It will literally cost you money to not know how beautiful you are when you enter spaces. So then my brain went, whoa, I want to be losing money. And he said, you don't want to be losing money. So you need to have a firm understanding of every element of who you are when you enter into a room. Okay? And I said, right. So one, that just made sense to me that I am hot shit, right? Like not in a like, ooh, this is like, no, practically speaking, I'm hot shit. And then once I understood that, then things started to roll for me, right? And then COVID came. And then I lost all of my jobs, but also everybody lost all of their jobs. I did book one thing for Sarah. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Practically, why is this something, not just when it comes to the entertainment industry, this is something that we all need to have an understanding of when it comes to how we are when we enter into spaces, right? Because I have a friend who is a full-blown model whose man, thank God she spoke to me about the truth of what was going on in her relationship. And I said, I'm gonna need you to leave. You're literally too hot for this. A full-blown model doing 50-50 with a booga. I said, girl. Now, I'm not saying that only models are people that don't deserve, that only models deserve men that don't do 50-50, that pay for. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the way that phrase hit me said that how beautiful you are, how intelligent you are, how creative you are, how innovative you are, how resourceful you are. If you don't have a thorough understanding of that, it is not only a testament of how intelligent or unintelligent you are, but it also allows other people, probably men, to enter into your space and tell you what your level of beauty, which within a capitalistic society does have monetary value, right? So whether that's beauty, whether that's resourcefulness, whether that's creativeness, whether that's compassion, whether that's community building, whether that's whatever, it gives space for a booga to come in and say, I know the value of this, which then makes you dumb. And I am too smart to not know how beautiful I am. Moving on. Next one. If your spirit says to leave, then leave. Now, I grew up in the church. I grew up in a very Pentecostal upbringing, and then we moved to a non-denominational church, and my family is still very much a part of that. I have a complicated relationship with the church. But at the end of the day, when they said that to me, especially when the women said that to me, I knew that they were talking more about intuition than anything else. Now, my family is Caribbean. My mom is from Jamaica. And if you have any foundation, if you have any understanding about Jamaican women, specifically Jamaican mothers, when a Jamaican mom has a dream, it means something, and it's very true, and it should be, it means something. And it don't have to make sense to nobody. It doesn't have to make sense to them. It especially doesn't have to make sense to a man, right? But something inside them, spiritually, energetically, it irritates. So if your spirit is irritated, and once again, I have a whole video talking about the difference between anxiety and intuition on my page, right? So you need to be able to identify that difference, first of all. But once you can identify it and something irritates that, you don't have to make it make sense. You don't have to justify it to anybody. The moment that you feel it and it says leave, you leave. The moment it says move, you move and don't question it. Next, it is never too late to start again. Uh-oh, I have a sneeze. I have a sneeze. Oh God. Oh God, I thought there was only one. Okay, that's all. Ooh, so sorry. Yeah, it's never too late to start again. And I know that a lot of people have heard that, but to actually watch it happen in practice after being told it, right, among women, it is so inspiring and encouraging to watch women raise themselves up from the ashes of toxic, abusive marriages, of whatever kind of pursuit, of careers that they hated, of friendships that tore them down, of family members that were shackles upon their feet. It's so encouraging to watch women who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Okay, so she's my half-brother's grandma. She got married in her 80s. She got married in her 80s. Now, sure, were they together for a very long time? Yes. Did he help her raise her children? Yes. Did he want to marry her for decades? Absolutely. And she said, I'm not ready. I'm not ready, but you can stay. And he said, I love you, so I'm going to stay. And then in their 80s, she was like, okay, I'm ready now. Ooh, 1 second. So she wasn't technically starting again, but she did enter a brand new chapter of her life in her 80s. She had the cutest wedding pictures with this little kitten heel. It's watching women like reclaim themselves at any chapter of their life it's so powerful to see happen in practice. And it's an encouragement to me, not just in watching them do it, but in telling me, Shayna, it's never too late. Especially when you have a community, especially when you have a really solid community. Next one is invest in yourself. You are worth it. An investment in yourself will always reap benefits. You will always gain interest. It is compounded interest when you invest in yourself. Investing in a man, not so much. Next, invest in your friendships. They will probably outlive any man. And like, not just the like funny kind of, oh yeah, probably like you'll probably be friends after the divorce. Men die much sooner than women do generally. They don't take care of themselves. They don't have their vitamins. So your friendships will probably outlast whatever relationship, especially like your community, but your friendships will probably outlast whatever relationship you have with him. So for all of the women, all of the people that date men, that cut off their friends, their community as soon as they partner with a man, they're really cutting themselves off at the ankles, and it happens every single time. As soon as that relationship is done, they always come scurrying back. They always come scurrying back, trying to make it seem like time hasn't passed, and it could be years. It could be years. It could be decades for some. So invest in your friendships. This one is specifically from my mom. She wants everybody to know that they need to take care of their bones. Menopause eats your bone density. So yeah. Next one, it's not that somebody said these exact words to me, but it's how I heard it. Be like water, you will always land on your feet. There is, when it comes to femininity, and not in that like hyper masculine red pill, oh, masculine, no. When it comes to the femininity that is the earth, that is creativity, that is nature, that is culture, that is music, that is love, that is dance, that is flower, that is spring. When you are like water, water is itself a whole and can mold into whatever shape it is, thus enriching it with life. So if you are like rock, if you are like this and you fall, you gonna shatter. You're not flexible. You're not tapping into that beautiful, earthly, creative water space that women and femmes tend to naturally inhabit. So if you give yourself the flexibility to live fully, to breathe recklessly, to do unabashedly, right? It gives you that space to always land on your feet. It's why everybody's like, cats, the way that they just kind of like squeeze and enter into spaces. We're like, how on earth did a cat get in here? And they always, I mean, I know they don't always, but like the phrase is they always land on their feet. They have such stretchy spines. Be like water. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. The man always needs to love you more. Always needs to love you more. I've heard that from every happy relationship. Yeah, every happy relationship. Every relationship that I've looked at and I've been like, ooh, I would love to find a husband that treats me the way that your husband treats you. Woman always says he needs to love you more. Not to say she don't love him. She loves him, but he always loves her more. And last one for right now is picking the wrong man can derail your life but never ruin it. If you have air in your lungs, if you've got growth in your toenails, you can always get your life back on track. Now, a man can massively derail it. You could be going to Oklahoma and end up in Brazil, right? Now, mind you, I personally prefer to be in Brazil over Oklahoma, but like, you know what I'm saying. You could eventually get back on track to Oklahoma. It could take you a much further time. Some men, when they derail you, you could be going to Oklahoma and they'll take you to Nebraska. And that's just like, geez, I gotta take a different bus. But sometimes you end up in Brazil. Sometimes you end up in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, right? But as long as you're breathing, you can get your life back on track. There's endless possibilities. There's endless possibilities for life. And this is coming from somebody who was paralyzed a few years ago. And look at me. I got legs now. So yeah, these are some of the things that older women have told me that live in me. It helps me hold my head up higher. It helps me straighten my back. It helps me speak from my chest. If there are any things that women have told you, older women have told you, please type them in the comment section so that way younger women can read them and start to build up a profile of ancestral knowledge. And once again, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all of that great stuff, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye.